Built between 1906 and 1910, Penn Station was a place of inspiring beauty and elegance.
Price tag, $16 million. Purchased, one railroad station. It's 23rd of July, 1925. And here's Chicago's brand new Union Station.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having another wonderful week. Today we are exploring, trains. I am here at Tampa's Union Station, and I got to thinking about, I remember when trains were king of travel. Do you remember that? Do you remember when train travel was king of all travel? Not so much anymore, huh? At least not here in the United States. Let's take a look at that. I thought I'd take you down here to Union Station and discuss this story. But we're going to go over, remember when trains were king of travel. Wow, what a wonderful place. Oh, I remember when I came here to Florida back in the late 80s. I actually came by train. It was the cheapest mode of transportation, and I had no money, but definitely wanted to get here. I actually came into this station, this very station, but it was much different than you see it today. See, actually, this used to be the center for all things coming in and out of Central Florida. Hard to believe, right? But it's true. There was a time where this station and many others like it across the country, Chicago Union Station, Penn Station, Grand Central in New York, all were the focus of travel. Trains were the workhorse beasts, and they didn't think there was ever going to be an end in sight. They went and built these grand stations like here in Chicago, the one you see, and like this one in New York. Everybody knows Pennsylvania Station. You probably heard the song. Well, maybe not. You guys are probably a little too young for that. But yes, there was a time where train travel was the king of all travel. Oh, they had first-class luxury cars. They had cattle cars and economy in between. It's where the airline gets most of its workings from. They actually steal all the ideas that were patent and perfected in the train industry. So what happened? I mean, there was a time where you couldn't get into this station any hours of the day or night, 7 days a week. It was packed with commercial business, passenger business. Trains were the ultimate way of traveling. It was an exciting experience just to come to Florida and take the train. I remember I actually came down here to go to Disney World when it opened in the mid-70s, and only people with a lot of money flew. So us coming from, working man means, we took the train. We took the old Amtrak Express, one much like the train in the case right here. And I'll be honest with you, I never forget that experience. It was just me and my grandmother. It seemed like a total adventure. The train was completely packed. I mean, this was the 70s, but I could swear there were even people on there with chickens and livestock. I mean, I doubt it, but it just seems that way. It's very romantic, the train travel. It gives you these aspirations of days gone by and how exciting everything was and new to explore and, you know, to feel and try for the first time. Where did we lose that train spirit? I know in a lot of Asian countries and in most European countries, train is still king. It's one of the most efficient, effective, and financially sound ways of getting around. But unfortunately, we've lost our way here. I remember when there was a time that my particular station, Tampa Union Station, used to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now, it's open every day. There are only 2 trains. One that comes at 12 o'clock in the afternoon from the north, and one that comes at 5 o'clock later in the afternoon from the south. So we have 1 incoming, 1 outbound. There used to be 4 of each every day. This station, Tampa Union Station, had 8 mainline tracks that fed the system and had both commercial and passenger trains that passed through the station. So you can imagine how busy it used to be. Unfortunately, now you see, like in this, it's under construction. And that construction is construction to put in a new elevated off-ramp to the expressway. So, I guess they really feel that the train will never be coming back in its ultimate glory ever again. They do keep up the station, and actually the citizens rallied to keep it open. They were going to eliminate the Tampa stop, but we do have so much traffic that seemed just insane. But we all know government does things that are quite insane. So the compromise was to reduce the station from 8 main tracks to 2 main tracks, giving up part of their land for the new overhead expressway and maintaining 4 sets of tracks. And in reality, they use 1 set of tracks. The other one is, I guess, the backup. In the 30 some odd years I've been down here, I've never seen a train on those tracks. Now I do see that they're getting ready to refurbish those tracks, but who knows, maybe things are picking up. But currently, as you can see, not a train or passenger in sight. It's really sad when you consider that the entire country was moved by train, both, you know, economically, personally, professionally. The train was just the way to go, and I still believe it is. You know, my mother, Granny, she only rides the train. She's smart, gets a great price, a couple of hours, about equivalent of driving. I mean, no downside, all up. But they're starting to cut back on their services, and it's not because they have a lack of interest. I think more people would even ride the trains if they expanded the schedules, but they're so hell-bent on choking the train out of existence that you're lucky to get, you know, 1 train a day to each major city, which is, in my opinion, very sad. We're losing part of what really made America great. The train is the invention that helped connect this country and brought together, you know, East and West, what made us such a superpower in the past. And maybe that's one of the reasons we're hurting so much now. We've lost our way. We shun the train. You know, we act like, ooh, train, transportation of the poor. You know, horrible, just horrible way to think. Now on the West Coast, they do have some very exclusive first-class train accommodations that take you from California to Washington State. Absolutely beautiful. If you ever get a chance, that's definitely a train ride you want to take. But currently, they make it so uncomfortable and such a difficult schedule.
This is a boarding call for Amtrak Thruway Bus 6097 en route to Fort Myers with intermediate stops at St. Petersburg, Pinellas Park, Bradenton, Sarasota, and Port Charlotte.
See,
Passengers should proceed out of the left.
that's how the bus gets further south. That's how the train gets further south currently. They pipe you to Tampa, put you on a bus, and then send you down as far as Sarasota, which is directly across from like the Fort Lauderdale area on the East Coast with Alligator Alley. So you take a bus to go as far as Alligator Alley, but there was a time that this rail actually stopped at every stop all the way to Fort Myers. See how sad it is? Now, funny that came up because the car is the killer of the train. That's right. They contributed the loss of business to the train to the car. Passengers became more intimate and personal. They could ride in comfort, leave and go when they wanted. And not far behind that was the commercialization of air travel. So like with everything else, I guess, with progress comes, great profit and gain to one and great sorrow and loss to another. And it's sad because the train is a super cool way of traveling, very romantic. It allows you to see more of the country that you're going through. When you fly, it's overhead, point A, point B, leave, get there, miss everything in between. The train allows you to see all of that if you have the time. Now, if you're pressed for time, then the plane is king, right? I guess that's one of the reasons that maybe trains are no longer king. What a change, huh? I mean, just look at the station inside now. To run around in there naked, I don't think anybody would really notice. As you can see, it lacks the essential commodity of passengers. Sad. To think that there was a time when that station that you just saw was completely filled with people 24 hours a day. Livestock, hobos, shit. I miss the train hobos. Nothing like a good hobo with the rails to tell you stories of life and how things are going across the country. We have our instant access with our internet and our smartphones, but we're lacking that real human, gossip-laden, kind of wrong, kind of right stories that you get when they're passed by, word of mouth instead of a tweet or a text. Yup, I kind of miss those days. Train hobo with a sack hobo for the train, riding the rails, living free, spreading the beauty of America and the stories of what's going on in Florida, or what may be going on in New York, or what's going on out west. Keeping the country connected on a more personal level, more from the heart. Little embellishment. Hobos know how to tell a good story. But, as you can see, it's a sad state of affairs for our trains here today. I mean, maybe once in a while we should give up our thirst for time and just kick back and take a train. It's like I'm planning on it. I'm thinking of maybe even flying out to the West Coast and taking that beautiful train ride from Northern California to Washington State. It's supposed to be spectacular. It is quite pricey. Maybe I can get a Groupon or something going. But let me know in those comments down below. Is the train still a massive thing where you're at? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Now, I mean, if you are motion sick, then I can get it. Any transportation ain't great. Trains are one of the worst. It would be boat, train, then plane for my family. Car being least and last. I've broken them on that. But you tell me, still taking first class passenger trains in your country? Traveling more by train than by plane? Everybody seemed to love the rails. Your government's still invested in it and keeping it going strong. See, ours is not, and that's why it's hurt. But I am just dying to know. But Y'all know how we do it on this channel. Comment, like, subscribe. 5K, getting real close. Couple more weeks, few more weeks. Then it's time for the big adventure. Love ya. See y'all in the next one.